Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast. Today is Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. What happened during this week? I'll let you know. In 1969, July 12th through July 24th, you guys figure it out, and then we'll give you the answer later. But for now, we're going to talk about mortgages, real estate, what's going on in the market. And with me, we have Miss Becky Ellie. Hi, Beck. Well, she was there. We also have Mr. Harvey Freed, co-host with Becky Ellie every Saturday morning, Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Program, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Good morning, Harvey Freed.
Good morning, Harry. How are you guys?
Good. In the booth, we have producer and director Roberta Beauchene. Becky's getting after it right now on the podcast. Good morning, Beck. How you doing? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, great. Good morning. How's everything going this morning?
It's good. I'm just running around on two wheels like I normally do.
There we go. Becky's on the road. So pretty pumped up today, panel. Harvey, Becky, Roberto on the booth. I'm pretty jacked up. The 4th of July holiday hangover is now in the rearview mirror. It's over. People are back to work. People are back to buying houses. I'm pretty pumped up about the market. Still extremely strong. Buyers are out in force. Yes, Becky, Harvey, it's still crazy out there, right? Personal stories we're going to talk about. Have some real life examples. For example, and I'm going to go to Becky after I tell you one of my 3 examples. Finally, after 12 offers, clients found a house in Livonia, put in 12 different offers. We finally helped them win an offer. They were still in the game after 12 offers, and they didn't quit, Becky. You can't quit in the middle of something hoping to be successful, and that holds true for home buying, correct?
Yes, you can't. There's no room for quitters out here. I mean, you can quit bad things in your life, but if you are trying to buy a home, you have to stay in pocket. You have to be surrounded by the right people. And part of that is, as a professional stepping in and motivating the buyers, because it is very emotional. They don't do this every day. And it is a little bit of a mentally taxing process if you put in a couple offers and get beat out.
Yeah, so Becky, that is true. When we're counseling and advising them on mortgages, we're also telling them, listen, stay calm, don't worry about it. We'll be right by your side. And when you find that house, we'll get you that approval letter, not a pre-approval letter, not a pre-qualification letter, an actual approval letter so they can be in the game. They can't quit, Becky.
No, we don't like quitters.
That's right.
We're not
Harvey
quitters.
Freed. Harvey Freed, let's talk about a personal example that you have.
Yeah, that's a great topic. I'm glad you guys brought it up because I have it going on. I got a call on Sunday that said clients of mine that have been looking at a vacation home across Michigan. They've been on a 2-year surge. And boy, oh boy, have they put offers in. I think they're multiple offers already, probably 10 to 15 offers on several homes. And they felt very confident. And sure enough, they got beat out by some higher offer. Now, the communication, I spoke with the agent. He even mentioned that the other listing agent, not good communication. Sellers were a little on the older side, had trouble signing it electronically. And then they ended up taking supposedly a cash offer. Now, he didn't give me examples, but we have seen this time and time again where the lack of education on the seller's side, they're actually walking away and leaving money on the table. Now, anyone who owns a house, if you're selling your home, unless for some weird reason you've got you just want a family to move in, you're all concerned that the investor might flip the house or turn it into a rental. There's all these different reasons, but at the end of the day, a seller should consume themselves with netting the most amount of money and putting a really nice and smooth transaction together. And I don't think this happened. Well, it turns out that there might end up being a problem with the septic field anyways, that a lot of families out there are making these cash offers and the agents aren't real sharp either. They're missing out. And then they get the well and septic team out there and they quickly find out that there's a huge problem. So a lot of times the house you don't get or that relationship you don't get, Harry, is sometimes the best relationship. And in this case, even the agent and I just agreed and he said, Harvey, I'm going to go find them a better house anyways. It's going to be better that they didn't get this one.
Sometimes the best deals somebody does are the ones that they never do. Becky, another example is, I've got a client, 20 offers, 20, yes, 20, finally one accepted. They're off and running. They're in the system. They're going to close in August, 30-day close. Could we close them sooner? Sure, but the seller wants to close in 30 days, so we're going to go ahead and yield to the seller. But one I want to tell you about, Becky and Harvey, is just as Harvey mentioned. Ready? $100,000 over asking price, no inspection, really crazy cash offer. We advised them to get out of that transaction. We said there's no way. It did not make sense for them to go ahead. Their first home, new home buyers, they're in their late 20s, early 30s, to pay $100,000 over and waive an inspection, Becky, just to be in the game. We didn't feel, they didn't feel, their advisors didn't feel, their team did not feel that that was in the best interest of the client. They are so happy that they didn't get involved in that transaction. Now they can move on and go find a house that checks the majority of their boxes and do it their way, Becky.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just had a phone call on my way to my third destination of the day as a first-time home buyer. She's been out looking for probably about 3 months. And she said she just experienced her first heartbreak of not getting an offer accepted yesterday. And it came out that the reason her offer wasn't accepted because she would not waive the home inspection. And the offer that was accepted, they did waive the home inspection. And she said that she will never waive the home inspection because she is under my wing, under another amazing agent, Ryan Fazio's wing. And that's not an option. It's not an option for her. It's not an option for us as her team. And she said that that's heartbreak that she's willing to handle, because if someone, in her opinion, is taking an offer over a waived home inspection, they might have something to hide. They might not at the same time, but in her opinion, and what's best for her is never to waive the home inspection. And that's always something that we preach time and time again, because you never know what's under those walls sometimes.
You know, it's funny, the more agents you talk to, and we had Holly Amato on the show last week, Becky, with you and Harvey, myself, Carolyn from the credit company, and we had never talked before. I had never met Holly before. It was a joy getting to talk to her. And the funny thing is, the educated, experienced agents, when they come on the show or when we talk to them, the first thing they'll tell you is they could never recommend in good conscience to waive a home inspection, Becky. They come out and they say it first and foremost. That's how I know that we're in tune with the proper people, the proper real estate partners that we have going, that we bring on the show. We'll talk about the show in the next couple segments. But when I hear those words come out of somebody's mouth, Becky, it's music to my ears.
Yeah, I mean, and like to your point, like we're not leading anyone to say any of those things. I mean, she literally said that even on her own as we were driving, because it's something that we talked about in the beginning. There's going to be ways we can win offers, and how far are you willing to do, and how far are you willing to go, and what are you willing to do? And part of our initial buyer consultation was there's going to be a home inspection. What is that expense? What does that entail? Sometimes people are going to take an offer because you waive it, and you have to be where you're at as a person, what your goals are in the long term. Do you want to, deal with an extra $10,000 expense because you don't want to spend $400 in the beginning of a transaction? That's money well spent. I don't care if you put in 5 private home inspections. That is money well spent for peace of mind. You can't put a price tag on that.
I love that, Harvey Freed. It's always wonderful when we talk about it, talking to people that are extremely educated in the process. And we go ahead and we try to take people under our wing, educate them, have conversations with them, so that when they're in the middle of this emotional process, they've already been told and primed for what's going to happen. So, for example, it's okay, Harvey Freed, if somebody wants to pay over a listed price, right? If they want to go $20,000, $30,000, it's not a problem. But what do we tell them, Harvey? We tell them, listen, you want the house, that's fine. But again, the house might not appraise for that purchase price. And when I was talking to a young couple last night, and I said, it might not appraise. You know what they said to me, Harvey? Music to my ears again. They said, yeah, we know, but Harry, you already know that we've got the money to cover any appraisal shortfall. We want the home. We understand what we have to do to get this house. We're all good with it, Harvey Freed.
Good advice is hard to find. There's no doubt about that. And another theme as we're talking about the subject is like you talk about these professional agents that we've aligned ourselves with, and they all talk about they're willing to give that advice out there. Again, good advice out there to tell them, let's get a pass fail inspection on the house. The buyers out there are all looking for move-in condition properties. They're willing to pay top dollar. They're willing to pay 20, 30. We've seen up to 100,000 over asking. But at the end of the day, they don't want to find out that they bought something that has other problems, other issues with the house. So there's a couple themes that we've been hearing from the listing agents and from really great real estate agents. And one of them is, do you have the guts as a listing agent? You want to get that listing. You want the seller to work with you. But do you have the guts, the honesty, the professionalism to tell them what they need to do to fix up the house, to make the house sound, to make sure there's not evidence of mold in the corner when you finally start getting offers, to make sure that there's no evidence of water and that the roof is bad and that there's electrical problems and GFI problems and that it has cloth wiring in a fuse box. It doesn't have the circuit board. And all of these things, Harry, does some agent, are the agents out there, are the professional ones we know, are definitely out there. They're willing to share this with their sellers. And at the end of the day, they have smoother transactions and the sellers net more money from the sale of their house because their agent was strong. They weren't just a lay down. The agent was strong enough to tell the families, you're selling your house, let's get it inspected so we can fix up everything. And then we can accept cash offers and we won't have any backlash. We won't have any inspection problems when the buyers finally ink up the purchase agreement.
Yeah, I agree with that. You have to give people the honest and truthful advice because in the end, that's what they want. And that's what we provide. So next question I have for you and Becky. Becky is, how are you right this second today? How are we helping clients win in these competitive situations?
I got a great example actually. Last night, everyone knows that, well, anyone that knows me knows I work extremely late. I didn't make it to the gym till about 9:30, and I got a phone call or a text message from a listing agent on for a property that my buyer has been going back and forth. They're negotiating, and the agent asked me, how many offers has she put in? Is the buyer strong? And are they willing to go? Can they move forward if we remove the concessions from the offer? And just for me, just being able to reach out and being able to clearly communicate, right on the spot, exactly where our buyer is in the transaction, how particular she is. She's not one of those buyers that are putting offers in on any old house. This house checked all the boxes, and that's why she wrote an offer. She can move forward without concessions. She had the money. And the fact that I could just relay that information at 10 o'clock at night, right off the top of my head, and communicate eloquently, let that listing agent know that I'm available. I know how to communicate. And I know exactly what's going on with our buyers. And that is how we're helping them win, because I don't care if I'm talking to, I have 100 different people out there, or if I have 5 people out there. I know exactly what each scenario is. I can rattle it off the top of my head, and I'm always available to have these key conversations, because this is a market where there's a lot of people out there running around with pre-approvals that don't mean a dang thing because they were not properly qualified. And we had the conversations in the beginning. What's our max for a buyer? What's the minimum for the buyer? And all my referral partners know that if they hit me up and we're in a clutch situation, that I'm going to be the one that's going to reach out and deliver that message, because sometimes it takes a different voice to win an offer.
You know what, Becky? There's a manual out there somewhere. There's a Bible, there's a manual, there's a pamphlet, there's a book out there. And in the book, to be successful, it says you need to be extremely present and extremely available to your clients, whether it's 8, 9, 10 p.m. at night, whatever day ends in Y, you have to be extremely present and available. You believe it. I believe it. Harvey believes it. We believe that being present and available, see, everybody thinks, and that's assumed. Everybody assumes that everybody is present and available. We can tell you they're not. All right. We know that's true. Harvey Freed, I'm going to go to you. What right this second today? It is 11:46 a.m., July 12th. What are you doing, we doing, to go ahead and help clients win in these competitive situations?
Well, there's no doubt, Harry, buying a home is very infrequent. I mean, people might buy a home 2, 3, 4 times in a lifetime. It's complicated and it's very emotional. There's a lot of emotions involved. It's the biggest financial decision families are going to make. So we're constantly giving them the confidence. The knowledge gives you confidence. We've put these two words together over the last 3 years. The lack of inventory, supply and demand, and the basic economics has put more weight on confidence and giving the families confidence. And it's really confidence in their financials. It's also confidence that they've hired the right people involved, so that if you hire a Becky, Ellie, or myself, that they will answer the phone late in the evening or early in the morning, and they'll be able to share lots of great information to put everyone at ease, to give everyone the confidence that this is going to be a smooth transaction. You're hiring professionals to help you negotiate, to build a relationship, the market knowledge. And this is what's offered by professionals in the real estate community and in the lending community. Is to give that added confidence so that families can make the great decisions and that they don't regret after signing on the dotted line.
I agree with that, Harvey. That couldn't be more sound advice. Becky, before we get into the last words and before you introduce who's on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show Saturday from 9 to 10 on 97.1, I have to throw a little rate thing in there. I just want to let everybody know out there that's listening all over the world to this podcast, mortgage rates right now, July 12th, from the beginning of home buying season, we'll say May 1st, 2023, today have remained relatively stable. So what does that mean? Buyers are getting it. Buyers are coming out in full force. Rates have somewhat normalized in the buyer's mind. It's a lack of inventory that we're helping you win those offers on. Rates aren't the issue. The issue is inventory and getting you in the house. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to talk about the Fed today. Becky, who's coming on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show before you give your last words? Who are we introducing this week?
We got Sherry Gramlich from EXP. She's no stranger to the business. Yeah, Sherry is great. She's top notch. She's one of the best people that I know. She's also a veteran. She served our country, so she is customer service oriented. She is all the things that you want in an agent, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say.
That's awesome. Sherry Gramlich, everybody, on the show with Becky, Ellie, Harvey Freed. I might stop by 9 to 10, 97.1 FM. Brought to you by Capital Mortgage Lending, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, Equal Housing Lender. 2289 is our NMLS number. Show is produced and directed by Roberta Beauchene. Becky, last words for the day.
Last words for the day. I would say just if you're out there and you're a buyer, like we talked about at the top of the show, don't feel defeated. You have to be in there. You got to be in it to win it. And you never know, the right house is going to be coming along for you when the time is right. My buyer got her offer accepted at 10 o'clock last night just because I answered a simple text. So just know that when you're with the right people, the right things are going to fall in place. So don't be discouraged. Don't let your emotions get the best of you. And just know that whoever you're working with, whatever loan officer, if they're asking you for something, do yourself a favor and just get it to them. Because I assure you, no loan officer or banking institution is going to ask you for a piece of paper that we don't need. We don't need more paper in our life. We're not trying to ask for things we don't need. So do yourself a favor, be organized, and listen to the professional team, because we're out here slaying the dragons for you and making sure that not only once your offer gets accepted, but you have a smooth underwriting process. And part of that process is you being compliant with the things that are needed.
I love that. Great last words from you today, Becky, and we appreciate that. Looking forward to having Sherry on the show. Harvey Freed, how about you today, pal?
Purchases picked up a little bit this week, so I was pretty excited. We've got a couple families that got their offers accepted. So as we started the show with keeping the grind out there, yes, if you're a serious home buyer, you've got your approval letter in hand. Again, reach back out to your lending community and make sure you got a true approval letter. If you're not having these deep, longer conversations with your lender, we do suggest that you reach out just to get a little bit more knowledge behind you. We always notice that things change. If you were talking with someone 4 or 5 months ago, you do want to re-engage with them. It's a helpful tip for all buyers out there, just to make sure nothing has changed dramatically in your life. Your income didn't change. You might have had another baby. Your financials might have changed. You might have bought a new car that you didn't have 3 or 4 months ago. So communication is key. Those are my final last thoughts. I continuously communicate and stay in the game, because if you're looking to buy a home, there are plenty of homes out there still that should check enough boxes for you and your family.
Yeah, that's great, Harvey. So excited for Ryan and Melissa this week. They closed on their house after about 12 offers. Josh and Christina had offered, accepted after 20 offers. So excited for another couple. They're still in the process, so I'm not going to name them, that did not offer 100,000 over and waive their inspection. Best transactions are some of the ones that you never enter into. I'm excited, Becky and Harvey, to have Sherry Gramlich on the show. So it's a great week. It's a solid week after the July 4th hangover that everybody experiences. So for Roberto Beauchene, the producer director in the booth, Becky Alley, Harvey Freed, I'm Harry Glange. Glad to have you with us, and everybody all over the world listening to the podcast. We'll see you soon.